Child's pose. Child's pose is nice because you're just settling down and no effort. You're just allowing kind of the sitting bones to reach towards the heels. And you get a little bit of a rounding almost of the low back that lets it unlock a little bit. So start there and then just rock yourself a little bit from side to side. I'm going to turn off the heater. Sorry about that, I forgot that was going. Okay. And if you'd like, in your child's pose, just stack your hands one over the other if you want to rest your forehead a little bit and rocking yourself. And noticing kind of where your trigger points are. If your low lumbar is giving you a little kickback. I also feel like when your lumbar spine is giving you kickback, the glutes need a little more support and a little more strengthening. So I will cue a little bit of all of that today. Okay, so right now we're center in our child's pose. So take a nice inhale, and on the exhale, walk both hands over to the right and sitting bones to the left. That's a great one, a nice stretch for the back. Good, and then on the inhale, walk it center and walk it over to the left. Good, and let's do that one more time. Inhale, walk it center. Exhale, walk it right. And then inhale, center. Exhale, walk it left. Good, and then inhale, bring it back to center, stretching fingertips long and overhead. And then gently lifting up and taking puppy pose. So walk the hands forward, and then we're just pressing the chest through. And sitting bones go up to where the wall and the ceiling meet. And then slowly curl yourself all the way into your cat spine. And then moving through your cat and cow. But being as mindful about the cow posture as you are cat spine. I know we all love to do that cat spine, but again, to keep that balance, we've got to open the front side of the body, especially when you're sitting at your computer. The front side shortens. Good, and let's do 3 or 4 more of those. Nice. And then crossing the legs, I'm going to kick us right into a little bit of core exercises because I feel like if the core isn't warmed up, the back kicks in so much more. So I want to get the core working a little bit and fire the muscles nice and warm before we go into the standing sequence. And I think that'll be helpful. So I've got 2 variations. First of all, let's just start with this, just bringing knees to a 90. And then feeling the transverse abdominals, right? And then slowly lowering the left toes down to the mat and lifting it up. And then the right toes down, but lowering kind of slowly, just so you can feel what muscles are kicking in. So depending on how you're feeling through the back, you can continue doing this, or we can intensify it a little bit more. All right, so let's just do 4 more, just tapping the knees out. It's a really little gentle, hello abdominals, we're going to get you nice and warm and fired up. Okay, so now bring knees to 90. Extend the left leg long, very active foot. Reach out like a Barbie doll foot, so you're reaching out through the ball of the foot. And just lift the torso up, right? We're just lifting and we're really firing again. And then instead of holding the knee, we're going to press into the knee and the knee's going to press into the hand. Right? And then notice, are you pulling and energized from the neck or are you energized from the core? Let's hold here for 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep pushing. 6, 5. Push a little harder. 4, 3, 2. Knees come into the chest on 1. Lower the torso down. Take a deep breath in. Open on the exhale out. Extend the right leg. So it's just hovering about 6 inches. Lift the torso. My core is firing. I'm paying attention to my neck, right? And I'm just really making sure that I'm isolating through the core, through the belly muscles, not necessarily the spine. Breathing in, and then on the exhale, push hands into the knee into the hands. And let's hold here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Lower down on 1, bring both knees into the chest. Both knees to a 90, and then just tap it out like we were doing in the very beginning, just to neutralize things. And know that you can continue doing this. Or let's take a second round. Both knees up. I forget what we started with. Let's do left leg long. Good, very active leg. Torso lifts up, pulling towards the knee, hands on the knee, inhale, and exhale, pressing the hands into knee into hands. Holding here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, lower down on 1, both knees into the chest, get a good inhale. Exhale, right leg extends, just hovering about 6-8 inches off the mat. Lift the torso up, press into the knee into the hands, holding here 10, 9, 8. Can you lift a little higher? 7, 6, 5, press 4, 3, 2, lower down on 1, both knees come into a 90, and then just tapping them out again. Good. How about one more round? One more round, and again, if it feels better to tap, then lifting one leg and extending the other, that's fine too. Okay, here we go. Extending right leg long, left leg long, right? I don't know. Lifting torso, pressing hands into knees, knee into hand, so it's very active. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, keep pressing, lift, 4, 3, 2, torso lowers on 1, knees into the chest, full breath in, relax, extend right leg long, lifting up, hands to knee, press knee or hands into knee into hands, holding 10, 9, 8, 7, keep going, 6, can you lift higher, 5, 4, 3, 2, lower down on 1, knees into the chest or to a 90, and just tap it out. Tap it out. Good. All right, both knees into the chest. Rock and roll 3 times along the length of the spine. Coming to seat, ground the hands, stepping back into plank pose. All right, from here, plank pose. Hands are right underneath the shoulders. Feet are hip distance or even just a little bit wider. Take a nice little shoulder shrug. Take a bend out of the elbows. Hug the bicep, tricep into the arm muscle. And let's just hold here for 20 seconds. You can be on knees, you can be on forearms. If you want to rock back and forth, that's good too. Just kind of firing up and waking up the muscles in the shoulders. 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Come down to your knees on 1. Pull back, child's pose. You can certainly do a more restorative child's pose by bringing arms down to the side, let the belly be soft, and then just rock yourself a little bit. Good. Arms stretch up long and overhead. Pointer fingers facing the top of the mat. Fingers spread out evenly. Coming into tabletop. Shifting into downward facing dog. Okay, so let's play around with down dog just a little bit too, because I love these cues. So you've got the L of your hand, right? So draw the weight into the L of the hand, like almost like the pointer finger knuckle, you're pressing down into the mat. So the forearms are going internal, whereas the upper arms are external. So think of hollowing out the armpit, and you are externally rotating, so you're drawing the bicep to the top of the mat, the tricep to the back of the mat, and your hands are not lifting off the mat, but you're trying to squeeze the L of the hands together. So you feel this beautiful activation just below the shoulder blades. Your lats are firing, your rhomboids are firing, all the muscles that are supporting the shoulder blade, the scapula, biceps, triceps are firing, and the deltoids, the shoulders, are firing. So it's just this beautiful activation. And if you can do that every time you're in your down dog, it takes all the pressure out of the wrists and stabilizes through the shoulder girdle. All right, let's inhale right leg high. And then take a minute if you want to bend the knee and open the hip. Continually think of, I'm pulling my L of my hands together. All right, square it up. And then slowly bring right knee, right tricep. Right knee, left tricep. Right knee, right tricep. Right knee, left tricep. Center, and then into low lunge. All right, dropping down to the bottom knee, let's circle the wrists around a little bit. Take a nice little cactus arms, stretching and opening out the front side of the body after doing those plank poses. Releasing hands behind you, maybe grabbing opposite elbow, and take that nice chest expansion here too. So I've got a little steeple grip. Mindful that the lower abdominals are tucked in firm, so you're not just popping your chest forward and dumping into the low back. Right, there's a big difference between this and this. And then lifting, gently lifting the hands away from the sit bones. Good, and let the hands relax. Lifting them up and overhead, do a steeple grip up and above, and then take that baby back bend. Maybe bending at the elbows. Fingertips to the sky, hands released down to the mat. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, little twist. Left hand will ground. Right hand can come to the knee. You can stay as you are. You can grab the back foot. If you grab the back foot again, think of kicking foot into hand. That's going to open up the chest a little bit more and lengthen up the quadricep. And then gentle release, come back to the center. Inhale, exhale, pull the hips back. Feel free if you want to go back and forth between lunge and Ardha Hanumanasana, have splits. Just notice what feels good. Movement with breath. And if you want to settle in and just hold your half splits, think of the knee bent as much as it needs to connect the belly to the thigh. Head in line with the spine. And then if you're able to straighten the leg, do it. And if you're not, keep it with bent knee. That's so much safer on the spine to have that connection of belly to knee. Good, and let's gently shift forward. Grounding the hands, front foot's going to meet the back. Let's hold plank again for another 20 seconds just because it's fun. Pulling the lower abdominals, and I'm just shifting back and forth. You can certainly be on your knees, if that's more supportive to you. Good. 10 more seconds. 5 more. 3, 2. All right, this time let's shift forward and lower down, chaturanga. You can come all the way to the mat if you'd like. Upward facing dog. Now that the core is nice and strong and warm, think of upward facing dog. Thighs are very, very active. My belly's pulling forward, and then that just creates that natural lift through the chest. And then ease into downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Look at your hand placement. Think about where the weight is in the hands. Take it to the L of the hand. Try to push the knuckle of the backside of the knuckle on the pointer finger into the earth. So that's rolling the weight inward on the hands versus out towards the pinky. Good, and then think of pulling the L of the hands together, activating through the scapula. All the muscles that are supporting the scapula. Think of the biceps slowly externally rotating towards the front, triceps towards the back. So you've got a little hollow spot in the armpit. Left leg lifts high. Bend the knee, open the hip. And then square it off. Left knee, left tricep. Left knee, right tricep. Left knee, left tricep. Back to the center. Low lunge. Drop down to the bottom, knees, circle, wrists around. Take that little cactus arm or maybe hook thumbs and just get a good stretch again through the pectoral muscles, the chest, or cactus arms if you want to go a little deeper. Tucking the low ribs under so we're not dumping into the low back, and then interlacing hands behind you. Take that opposite grip now. So opposite thumb is on top. Shoulder shrug opens up the chest and lifting the hands away. Hands away from the sitting bones. Good. Couple more breaths. And gentle release. Arms reach up and overhead. This time clasp the hands, reaching palms to the sky. And then release. Hands come down to the mat. Take a nice inhale, and on the exhale, a little twist to the left. Good, you can stay as you are, or if it feels okay to grab onto that foot. I like to flex my foot and create a handle and then kick into the hand. Hold and breathe, 3 and 2. Release the foot back on 1. Coming back to center, inhale, and exhale, shifting back and forth. Or just pulling back into your Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. And once you settle into the half splits, again, belly's connected to the thigh, so let the knee be bent as much as it needs to. Draw the left hip back, right hip forward, so that left hip isn't leading, hips are square. Head in line with the spine. Good, and then shift it all forward. Ground the hands. Front foot meets the back. 20 seconds in plank. Hug bicep, tricep to the bone, right? Instead of relying on the structure, on the bones to hold you there, rely on the muscles and then just shift back and forth a little bit. Fire up the shoulder girdle a little bit more. Keep on breathing. Belly's pulled in, lower abdominals nice and firm. Good, 10 more seconds. Added challenge, you can lift the right toes off the mat, rocking back and forth. Lower them down, lift the left toes off the mat. Good, lower them down, inhale, shift forward. You could be on knees. Chaturanga, you could come all the way down for cobra or scoop it up into upward facing dog. Pausing and holding here. Grounding the hands and you're lifting the hips off and trying to create that space between the belly button and the pelvic bone. And then lifting downward facing dog, let it all relax. Let's go on to inside, outside arches of the feet. And get some side stretching here. Bend the knees deeply, bringing belly down towards the thighs. Coming into center, rolling onto the inside, outside arch of the other foot. Nice. Reaching back, inhale, exhale, get a good downward facing dog. Pulling the L of the hand together. Biceps pulling forward, triceps pulling back. So external rotation of the upper arm, while the forearm is internally rotating. Good, let's roll up onto 10 toes, bend the knees. Walk yourself to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, even get the head higher than the heart for a second, just reverse the blood flow. And then bend the knees, let the belly connect to the thighs, toe heel the feet, hip distance or wider. And then just find a really yummy ragdoll pose. And maybe this time, start with knees bent, and then just give the thighs a hug. So you're wrapping elbows right around the back side of the knees. And connecting belly to thighs, let the head hang, and notice how that feels in the low lumbar, the release of the back. Does it feel better to hug behind the calf muscles? Just kind of play around, but make sure the head is hanging heavy and you're looking to the back wall between the knees. You're looking right to the back wall. Don't worry so much about how straight the legs are. Just feel into the back. Rolling the weight into the balls of the feet. The heels will stay connected, but roll the weight forward. I think I could stay here for a good part of the day. All right, let the hands hang heavy. Bent knees, long spine, halfway lift. Reverse your swan dive all the way up into Tadasana, mountain pose. And hands come back to heart center, Samasthiti. I feel like a new woman already. All right, let's get our blood pumping now. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, bent knees, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, open, halfway lift. Exhale, ground the hands, step back, move through your flow. Holding up dog if you'd like. And in your time, releasing into downward facing dog. Hollowing up the armpits, creating that beautiful stability. My lats supporting my scapula are very firm, firing in a way that they don't if you're not pulling the L of the hand together. So just constant activation, constant strengthening, and it takes the tension out of the wrists. Take a good inhale. Roll up onto 10 toes, bend the knees, belly to thighs. Bring yourself top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, just surrender into that fold. Inhale, take it high to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, find cactus arms, chest opens, come into your fold, belly connected to the thighs. Inhale, open, halfway lift. Get really fluid through the spine. Exhale, ground the hands, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. If you want to try something a little bit different, keep the right toes curled under and the left top of the foot on the mat. Right, so you're getting a little more length on the left side right now, and then just switch. But you really have to have the abdominals tucked in firmly. Legs really firm. Good, and pull into down dog. Breathing in, breathing out. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Get fluid through the hips. Release any tension in the low back. Rolling up onto all 10 toes. Bend the knees, belly to thighs. Take it to the top of the mat one more time. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep it all the way up to Tadasana. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Finding those cactus arms. Slowly melting into the fold, belly to thighs. Unravel the spine. Come into a halfway lift. Grounding the hands. One more time, flow through. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog, breathing in. Breathing out. Good. Rolling up onto 10 toes, bend the knees, belly to thighs. Take it to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana, feet are hip distance. Right, so pulling back, fingertips are reaching forward. Instead of up to the sky, fingertips are reaching forward. So think of lifting the inside arches of the feet. Knees are tracking out. Squeezing these out, so you're actually firing up the abductors as well. Not just the adductors, but the abductors pulling away, and that's connecting to the glutes. And then sink down a little bit more. And sink down a little bit more. Good. Maybe even finding that steeple grip, sinking all the way down into a 90. Hands to the heart, let's fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, ground the hands, flow. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Bend the knee for a minute, open the hip. Square it off. Right knee, right tricep. Right knee, left tricep. Back to the right. To the center. Low lunge. Stabilize the feet, sweep it all the way up into crescent lunge. Shoulders release from the ears. Press the heel, back heel towards the back wall. Back of the knee to the sky as best you can. Inhale to the center, and then on the exhale, a little gentle twist. Right arm back, left arm forward. If you'd like, bring the left hand to the outside of the right knee and right hand to the low back. Whatever feels best to you, most stable in your spine. But think of rotating from the belly, Then drawing the shoulders and then the gaze. Good, inhale back to the center. Exhale, shift the weight forward, airplane arms. Launching off onto the right foot for airplane. So, listening to this little quadrant of the back. Like the low lumbar is a nice little rectangle here. Pull the belly in, and before you go into full airplane, just notice if you're getting little trigger spots in the back. And pause, don't go any deeper. Back out a little bit. Belly's pulled in firm. Lifted leg is so strong and active. Flex the foot. Heart space is open. Good, firing up the glute on the right. Gently drop the left hip, right, so they are evenly headed towards the mat. Get a little bend in the knee. With control, we're going to step out to warrior two. Spiral the hand open. There. Relax the shoulders. Knee is right over the ankle, so if you need to shorten the stance, shorten the stance. When we were in down dog, you were pulling the L of the hand together. Now we're pressing the feet away from each other, like we're tearing the mat in half. Again, firing up the glutes. Good, let's inhale, reverse our warrior, and then exhale, extended side angle. Nice, and if you want to release a little bit in the low lumbar, reach the top hand in line with the back leg. So what I do sometimes is I just bring my hand to my ribs, my lower hand to my ribs, so I can really deepen that stretch. All right, take one more breath. And then on the exhale, just straighten the front leg. Inner thigh is nice and open now, Trikonasana triangle pose. Really try to root down with the outside edge of the back foot. Right, and again, you'll feel that nice lengthening right through the waist that wraps around to the low lumbar spine. If you want to increase it at all, put a block under your hand and then just reach the top hand to the front of the mat while externally rotating, chest towards the side. Good, one more breath. Get a bend in the knee. Half moon. Ardha. See if things are fired up enough so you can hover that bottom hand. If not, no big deal. Play around with your balance. Maybe you want to use a block and bring the ground closer to the hand. Let's hold here. 3 and 2. Squaring it off on 1. Fingertips are down to the mat. Leg is lifted. Get a bend in the knee. We're going to find Bashistasana on the left side. So you're going to step back. Left hand grounds. Just spiral open. If it feels okay, keep the right leg lifted. Maybe you want to touch the toes back to the mat. Maybe you want to drop down to the left knee. Find what works. Let's hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Come into plank on 1. Be on hands or knees, but let's just do 5 chaturanga push-ups. Squeezing elbows in, lower down 5. And 4. And 3. And 2. And 1. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Even breath out. Left leg lifts high. Bending the knee, opening the hip. Gently square it off. Left knee, left tricep. Left knee, right tricep. Back to the left. To the center. Low lunge. Stabilize. All the way up. Back heel to the back wall. Back knee to the sky as best you can. Inhale. Exhale, gentle twist. Belly's going to come through, shoulders, and the gaze. Breathing in, breathing out. Right hand can come to the outside of the knee, left hand can come to the low back. Find again what feels the best in your body. All is well. Hold here, 3 and 2. Coming back to the center on 1. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, airplane arms. Shift the weight forward. Launching off onto the left leg. Again, think of that little rectangle right where the low lumbar spine is. Belly's going to pull in nice and firm to support it. Maybe you have hand to the belly, hand to the back. As you're lifting the leg, lowering the torso. Don't lift it any higher if there's any trigger points in the back. Just working on some strength there. Good. Find your perfect sweet spot. And let's just hold and breathe. Hold and breathe. You've got this. 5, 4, 3, 2. Bend in the knee on 1. With control, stepping out, finding warrior 2. And I'm going to turn around and face you. There we go. Relax the shoulders again. Tear the mat in half through the front foot and outside edge of the back. Arms reach out nice and long. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Get some nice side body stretch. And then exhale, extended side angle. So think about how you want this stretch to be through the side body. If you want to increase it, arm is reaching up and overhead in line with the back leg. And like I said, sometimes I just bring my hand to my ribs, lower hand to ribs, and that kind of helps me keep open in the pose without resting on that arm. So it's all strengthening. But there's this really nice resistance that's coming between the inner thigh pressing into my tricep pressing into inner thigh. All right, let's hold here, 3 and 2. Take an inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, find Trikonasana. Good. If you want to increase this a little bit more to get a deeper side body stretch, maybe plant the fingertips on a block and then reaching hand almost parallel to the mat. Continuing to open up the chest to the side. Keep breathing into it. Get a nice bend in the knee. Fingertips reach out in front. Half moon. How are things feeling on this side? Maybe hovering the hands. Lifted leg is really firm, pressing out through the heel. Good. Let's hold here and breathe. 3 and 2. Squaring the hips off on 1. Leg is lifted parallel to the mat. Stepping back into Bashistasana on this side, on the right side. So right foot spirals, grounds. Left hand reaches high, maybe scissoring the legs. Maybe toes are dropping down to the mat. Maybe you're dropping down to the bottom knee. Let's just breathe here. 5, 4, 3, 2. Grounding the hands on 1. From toes or knees, 5 more chaturanga push-ups. Elbows pin in, lower 5. Lowering slowly, 4. And 3. 2. And 1. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good. One more breath. We're going to do it one more time. One breath to one movement. So right leg lifts high. Right knee, right tricep. Right knee, left tricep. Back to the right. Back to the center. Low lunge, ground. Stabilize, lift up. Take an inhale and exhale, gentle twist. Option here to bring hands into prayer and finding revolved crescent lunge. I said one breath, one movement, but I'm kidding. We're gonna hold this for a few breaths. Such a really great stretch again for the low lumbar spine to do some nice twisting. Maybe bringing hands to fly, maybe half bind, whole bind, maybe dropping to the back knee. 4 more breaths here. And then we'll move into one breath, one movement. 3 more. 2 more. Good. Release to the center. Reaching up and overhead. Finding airplane arms. Launching off onto the right foot. Finding your sweet spot. And then slowly stepping out. Warrior 2. Open it up. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, whole triangle. Good. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, half moon. Step it out. Take a breath into half moon. Square it off. Step it back. Spiral and open. Bashistasana. Breathe in here. Breathing out. High plank. Coming to knees or toes. 5 chaturanga push-ups. Do it at your own pace. When you're done, finding up dog, downward facing dog. Long breath in. Even breath out. One more breath while everyone's catching up. Left leg lifts high. Bend the knee, open the hip. Square it off. Left knee, left tricep. To the right. To the left. To the center. Low lunge, stabilize. Sweep it up, crescent lunge. Inhale. Exhale, gentle twist. Option to stay there, bring hands in prayer. Finding revolve crescent lunge. Option to stay here, come down to the knee, or open up to fly, half bind, whole bind. Think of left hip pulling back, right hip pulling forward. It'll bring you deeper into the twist. 4 more breaths. One more breath. Good, back to the center. Release it up. Shift the weight forward, airplane arms. Launch it off, stabilize. Lifting the leg, lowering the torso to your sweet spot. Good, hold and breathe. Bend the knee. Step it out to warrior 2. Nice, inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Good, inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, pause, breathe into triangle. Good, bend in the knee. Half moon on the left side. Pause and hold. Square the hips off. Stepping back. Bashistasana. On the left, or the right, excuse me. Breathing in. Grounding the hands, high plank. Hold plank, or take 5 more chaturanga push-ups. In your own time, counting out 5. Finding up dog, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Long breath in. Even breath out. Nice job, everyone. One more breath. Good. Let's come down onto our knees And then crossing your legs, pull your feet through. Oh, beautiful job. All right, so we already did core. So I'd love to lower all the way back down, and let's do a series of bridge poses. So have your block if you want it. I'm just thinking you can work it either way. You can start without the block and then rest in the block, but let's do 3 of them. So I'm going to start without my block and hold, and then add the block on the 3rd one, and then we'll hold that for a longer period of time. If you're going to do a restorative bridge, just stay in your beautiful restorative bridge. So laying down on your back, sitting bones towards the heels. If you use the block, this is level 1, this is level 2, and level 3 is this way. Okay, so once you find it, get that nice lift. Let the shoulders wrap under. So the shoulders are wrapping under, very similar to what I was talking about in downward facing dog, where the biceps are facing forward, the triceps are facing back. Maybe you want to interlace hands. If you're in a restorative bridge, just be there and enjoy it and close the eyes. If you're in your first full bridge, just rest down. Maybe bring your knees to the outside of the mat, knees to touch. If you're in your restorative bridge, on the next round, maybe consider lengthening the left leg while the right leg is bent. And then the 3rd round you can switch. Just see how it feels. Again, if you feel any trigger in your low back, then keep the knees bent. This time I'm going to take full wheel. You could take a 2nd set of bridge if you'd like. And then the 3rd time I'm going to do restorative. So prepping, and then on the inhale we always lift into our opening. And if you're in full wheel, slowly lengthening the legs as much as you can, shifting shoulders over wrists. And bringing it down whenever you're ready. You can take Supta Baddha Konasana. You can bring knees together, knees apart. And 3rd round, do whatever you'd like. If you want to do restorative, feel free. If you want to lift on your own, feel free. If you are in restorative and you have a nice block on your back, sometimes it's kind of nice to just rock the weight a little bit from side to side, just a little massage of the lower lumbar. Let's take 5 more breaths wherever you're at. And also, if you would rather bring knees into the chest for those final breaths and then feet to the sky, that's another option too. And if you have the block, remove the block. I just want to do a little therapeutic posture as well to kind of help you relax the muscles in the back, and it's called arch and flatten. So legs are extended long, let the belly be soft, let everything just be soft right now. And we're just going to move with the breath, but not into sensation. You're going to pause before the sensation. So we'll start with just a little arching the back. So right now my spine is in neutral, so I've got a little curve. I can actually stick my hands under my back. That's neutral. So on the inhale, we'll start with arching. You're just going to lift like the belly button up to the sky ever so slightly. Again, before you hit sensation, and then gently lower it back down. Let all the muscles relax to the belly, the legs, the spine. And then we do it again. On the inhale, you're just lifting just little micro movements, not very far. And you're lifting to the top of the inhale, and then on the exhale, just ever so slowly, let the spine go back to neutral. Everything is soft. Belly soft, back is soft. And then again, lifting belly button up, little arch of the spine. Before you hit sensation, you're going to pause. And then lower everything down. Close the eyes when you're doing this too, so you get that internal view of your body. Everything is soft. Legs are soft, glutes are soft, belly, muscles in the back. And then lifting one more time. Belly lifts. On that in-breath. And now it lowers and gently releases. All the muscles are soft. Soft, soft, soft. Even the space between the eyebrows, the jaw, the arms, everything releases. Now we're going to move into flattening. So what you're doing is you're lessening the space between the back and the floor. So we're pressing belly button to spine, spine into the mat. And then gentle release, going back to neutral. Let everything soften. And then gently pressing spine down into the mat, pelvic bone towards the sky. And let everything soften. Even the space between the eyebrows and the jaw. Just communicating to the body, everything is safe. Gently press the low lumbar down to the mat. And let everything soften. Even the space between the eyebrows. Pressing spine down to the mat. And let everything soften. Good, one more time. Eyes are closed. And then soften. And now we'll combine the two. So we'll arch first, soften, flatten, soften. So on your next in-breath, gently arch the spine, nod into sensation, and then soften. And all the while you're telling the body it's safe to let down. Now flatten, press the back down, narrow that distance between the back and the mat. And then release, soften. And then lift. It's like a little mini cat and cow in a supine position. Soften. and flatten. And soften. Notice, arch, and soften. Notice anything tightening up when you're doing any of these. And then flatten. And soften. One more time. In breath, lift. Exhale, release and soften. In breath, flatten. Exhale, soften. Pause and just notice. Gently bending the knees, bringing the feet to the outside edges of the mat. We're going to do a similar thing. Find a neutral spine again. And we're just going to windshield wiper. So both knees will gently drop, not all the way down to the mat. They'll drop to the left before sensation. And then bring it back to the center, very slowly, slow movements. And let everything soften when you get to the center. And then let them lower on the in-breath to the right. And then let them soften as they come back to the center. So find your own rhythm. But they're small movements and they're very slow. And then the other thing that you're observing is, are they moving and gliding smoothly? Or are they going do, 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 like you keep hitting little knots? The little nerve endings are causing pauses and interruptions. And all of it's okay. This is just a starting point. Let everything soften again. But again, eyes are closed and you're just observing how the body's kicking in and how it's allowing that ability to soften. A couple more times to each side. Breathing with the movements. And then sending messages to the body where you're feeling those little triggers that it's safe to let down. One more time to each side. And then come back to center and then just let the knees come together and rest. And soften everything through the inner thighs, the outer thighs, the belly, the hips, the back, shoulders, throat, space between the eyebrows. And just take nice, deep, even breaths. toe healing the feet back to the center. Everything's really soft and just crossing right ankle over left knee. So we're taking a really easy figure four. Again, just noticing. Like for me, I'm not feeling anything through my hips, but as soon as I crossed my ankle over the knee, I felt something in my thoracic spine on the left side just kind of tighten. So can you sit with this and just, again, tell the body to soften, soften, soften. If you want to take it deeper, you certainly may. But again, you're just playing witness to what's kicking in. Eyes are closed. Taking about 3 or 4 more breaths, whatever you're doing. And feel free to stay as you are or bring knees together, feet to the outside edges of the mat. Otherwise, uncross, bringing the right knee into the chest and then extend it foot to the sky. Toes are flexed. Foot is flexed. You can stay as you are, or you can gently lift the forehead up towards the knee. And just notice after doing such soft little movements, is this too jarring for you? Is this too much for you? Or did you allow the muscles to soften enough that that actually feels really good? Lowering torso down. Crossing right knee over left. Arms come out to a T. Take an inhale. And then exhale, just lower the knees down to the left. Maybe using a blanket under the knees. Little supine twist. And then gently bring it back to the center. Uncross. Maybe you want to bring your feet to the outside edges of the mat and knees to touch and just let everything reset. And in your own time, if you want to take a very restorative figure four on your back. Maybe start by just crossing left ankle over right knee. Noticing if it feels good. Telling the body it's okay to let down. And if you want to go a little bit deeper, you certainly can. Don't worry about what it looks like. Just focus on how it feels. Just keep the eyes closed and do that internal gaze. Four or five more breaths. gently lowering the right foot back down to the mat if you were in a figure 4 with leg lifted. Bring the left knee into the chest, give it a nice squeeze. Staying as you are, extend foot to the sky. Dorsiflex the foot, toes towards the nose. Staying as you are, or maybe lifting forward or forehead up to the knee. Just going 50%. Lowering torso back down, crossing right knee over left. Arms come out to a T, take an inhale, and exhale, find your supine twist. Knees come to the right, gaze to the left. And gentle release, knees back to the center. Uncross. Both knees come into the chest. Feel free if you want to march it out like we did in the very beginning, just toe taps. So it feels like the spine is back in neutral. And then bring knees into the chest, forehead up to the knees. On the in-breath, pressing shins into forearms. And on the exhale, finding your Shavasana. So Shavasana, now that we did all this work on the low back, maybe you want to put a rolled up blanket under the knees just so that that spine can stay in a really relaxed neutral. Or maybe you want to bring feet to the outside edges of the mat, knees to touch, and that's how you do your Shavasana. Just allow the back to be fully relaxed and soft. And slowly begin to lengthen out your breath. Maybe taking a full body breath in, reaching fingertips to toes, surrendering breath out. And in your own time, rolling onto your side, using your arm as a pillow. Offering up a thought of gratitude. And then coming up into a comfortable cross-legged seat. Eyes are closed, hands are in prayer position to your heart center. Bringing the love and light from the heart to the third eye center, may you have peace in your thoughts. Prayer hands to your lips, may you have peace in your words. Prayer hands back to your heart, peace in your heart and your actions. Bowing forward to seal in our practice, beauties. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you.